welcome to the Money Control Show. I'm Chaiti Narula. Today we take you into the world of mutual funds first and help you multiply your money in the correct fashion and give you a sense of the new Economic Offenders Ordinance 2018. Malcolm Forbes has always held that if you make your money the old-fashioned way, you will turn out to be a very nice, wealthy relative right before you die. The point I'm trying to drive home is give up the old habits. Let's bring in a fresh spark to your savings. After all, money saved is always money earned. Manoj Nagpal, personal finance expert of Money Control Now, joins us to walk us through the best mutual funds available today. Thanks a lot for joining in, Manoj. Manoj, there's been a change in the market leadership in the Nifty and the Sensex going up. Seems like the rally is being driven by a selected number of stocks and some specific sectors as well. What should the mutual fund owners and investors do now?
Yes, Chaiti, this is an important change that has happened in the last 1 year. The last 1 year has seen a complete change in market leadership, both in terms of the number of stocks that are driving up the equity markets and also in terms of the sectors which are driving up the markets. Both the things have become very narrower at this point of time, and investors need to take note of this and attune their portfolios if they want to continue generating returns in the future. What has happened is that sectors like IT, that is information technology, pharma very recently, and consumers, which is primarily the discretionary spending of people, those three sectors are driving the markets up with a very select set of stocks which are doing that. Because of this, what is happening is that mutual funds have started seeing a little bit of headwinds, and their performance has now been started to drag a little bit. Now this is causing a little bit of investors' concern. However, if investors attune their portfolios with the changing trends, they can still benefit going forward in the future.
Thanks so much for that, Manoj. Time to call up the asset management company and make the required changes, I guess. India has become the 6th largest economy in the world in terms of GDP, edging past a nation like France. While that is a reason much to cheer about, experts that we spoke to feel that we have umpteen miles to go before we emerge as an economic global powerhouse. Gaurav Chaudhary, economy expert of Money Control Now, joins us to break this down. Let's check this quick Insight 18 package first. Thanks a lot for joining us as always, Gaurav. Gaurav, this is an impressive report card that has come out on India according to the latest World Bank data. But still, the average Indian, earns far less than anybody else vis-a-vis the rest of the world. So how does this data hold forth, and what would you attribute these figures to?
So a couple of things. First, we need to break down this question into two parts. One is the quantitative aspect, which is the value side of it, and the other is the qualitative aspect, which is about the standard of living and other aspects. On the quantitative side, it's impressive, and we cannot deny the fact that India has become the 6th largest economy in the world and has joined an elite group of economies that is leading growth. It's one of the hottest growth economies. It has grown rapidly over the last several years, regardless of the twin shocks of this demonetization and GST. But that said, on the qualitative side, there's a lot that still needs to be achieved. What it, however, does is that it makes policymakers aware of certain problems that need immediate redressal. For instance, if you compare India with China, which is the second largest economy as of now, and is going to overtake US as the world's largest economy, in a couple of years from now, we are still far, far behind them. Not in terms of size of the GDP, but also in terms of average income. Say, for instance, India's average income is about $1,900, which is far less than many of the big economies. And compared to China, I don't think we are going to catch up with them in at least the next 10 years. So while this will take care of abject poverty, we need to be aware of the fact that this should not lead to more inequality.
Leave it at that, Gaurav. Thanks so much for those inputs. As always, time now for all the action from Dalal Street. Santosh Nair, editor of Money Control, with all the latest. Santosh, it's raining Q1 banking results. Which counter has really caught your attention in the back of the results, and how is the BankX behaving as well?
Well, it was not a great week for banking stocks in general. The government said that it would infuse another 11,000 crore into state-owned banks, but that didn't really lift sentiment for these banks beyond a point. On the earnings front, it's been fairly mixed. You had banks like Federal, DCB, Kotak Bank and RBL reporting their numbers this week. DCB numbers were a bit disappointing. As for the other banks, the numbers were fairly decent. Federal Bank, in fact, reported a fairly good set of numbers after the disappointment that you saw in the previous quarter. That bank made a good comeback, and it was also reflected in the stock price. As for Kotak and RBL, a decent set of numbers. However, the provision cover went up slightly, so that somewhat dampened sentiment for the stock. But overall, not that great a week for banking stocks.
Leave it at that, Santosh, Gaurav and Manoj. Thanks a lot for all of that money talk this week. Earl Winson has said, if you think nobody cares if you're alive, try to miss out on a couple of car loan payments. Money matters. Don't let anyone else let you think otherwise. And multiplying it for you matters to us here at Money Control. On behalf of the entire team, this is Shaiti Narula signing off.